I am one of the lowly little Ballantyne's employees. And I'm new to the job at Ballantyne's. I've only been there for a little over 3 months and was very excited to suddenly become a commuter with my Metro card and to go in by bus. But I have a lot of commitments after work that don't allow me to take the bus home and then get to where I need to be afterwards on time. So there are several days during the week where I actually need to have the car in order to do the other things that I need to do. And so it becomes a bit of an issue for parking the car. The other thing is that there are days where the schedule doesn't run according to what the schedule's supposed to be, which means that I need to leave for work an hour earlier when I take the bus than I do if I take my own car. And an hour's a lot of time to have to give up. So I'm very pro-bus. I'm thrilled that there are bicycle paths and footpaths and that there's a plan for a pedestrian city, but there also needs to be an allotment for parking for those of us that need to get in to actually work. In addition to which, a lot of the shoppers who come in are coming in from places where the buses don't necessarily run, and we want the shoppers to come in and buy big ticket items and take them home, and they can't do that on a bus if the bus doesn't go where they're going. And even if the bus does go where they're going, a lot of times the items they're buying are way too heavy for them to be taking on a bus. So if we want people coming into the city and supporting the businesses, we've got to give them a place to put the parking. But the parking not only has to be affordable, it's got to be somewhere that's well lit and safe, because especially in the winter hours, walking out in the dark at night is a little bit scary, and in that particular area can be very scary. So it really does need to be well lit, and I realize as more buildings go up and more activity is happening in the evenings, it'll be a little less conducive to the elements that make it a little frightening. Also, thinking about weather and when it's cold or wet or windy or all of those things, a lot of people don't necessarily want to take the bus if they can park close to where they're going. So that's something else to just sort of keep in mind. And having grown up in the States where there are lots of issues with parking in big places, there are things that can be done, like, for example, maybe finding satellite parking, a big place to put cars near the airport or something, with a shuttle service that's designated to a particular business, so that people who are going to be working at the justice system could all park there, and have buses that run in the morning every 15 minutes for like a 2-hour time period when people are coming in, and then again in the evenings. It wouldn't have to be something that would be a continual, but I think that there are sort of less expensive places to have more expanse of land, and I certainly wouldn't mind parking somewhere and then getting the ride in on a more conducive schedule. So I think that's all I have to say. Right. Oh, thanks.
I was thinking, like, there was a case in Dunedin where someone parked at the stadium and got a really big fine. Obviously, being in the retail sector, you probably get people, I presume, coming in and complaining when things go wrong. Do you get that kind of feedback from people as well with some of the private providers around the kind of high levels of fees?
Just penalties? More about the cost of it. Their thought of having to pay that much just, for 2 hours or whatever. And certainly I know a lot of people complain about going to visit sick people in the hospital, or particularly if it's a family member that they're going to visit in the hospital, that people visiting people in the hospital or going to the hospital as an outpatient shouldn't necessarily have to pay a huge amount of money just to go for medical care or to visit someone who's dying or very unwell, because the last thing you want to be thinking about is running down and putting money in the meter when you're with someone who's not well. Okay. My pleasure. Thank you. Look, I have 11 seconds left. Thank you. Oh, well, brilliant. Thank you. Oh, okay.
was going to say, there's no one else.
Yeah.
That's it.
Put on glasses with